He's mad Spider-Man is hotter. I love the men's right activists like openly demonstrating that they just don't like women in general. They're literally just like, I just hate women in general. I don't even want to see them in my video games. And if I do see them in my video games, I just want to see ass and titties like nothing else. I'm saying it. I couldn't resist. I had to fix this. Happy birthday, Alloy. Like, I don't know what to say about any of this beyond the fact that, like, I hope people recognize how objectively creepy and weird this is. Another day, another man embarrassed himself. Bro, watermark this. You've never felt the touch of a woman? Yo, when the account is so crazy that blue check marks are making fun of him, except for this guy whose name is middlemaga.com, who said, based. I don't know. These guys need these guys need to be sedated. That's what they need. All right, quick update on Israel Iran watch. We're gonna be doing that right now. Okay. Before we get to some fun shit. Oh my God, costumes do this for Brett, like Game of Thrones, Olivia Munn, and X-Men. Why not butts? Wait, what? Costumes do this for breasts? What? Are you trying to defend the dude who's like artificially boosting booty cheeks? Like what? I showed you one with the breast disease too. I still think it's like weird. It's weirdo behavior, bro. It's weirdo behavior. Yeah, we saw what LeBron was doing. Chatter. We already watched LeBron with the finisher. Okay, don't worry. 39 years old, the GOAT. That's how the conversation originally started. And then everyone was like, everyone saw a 39-year-old man go from coast to coast and yam it down, and literally had to bring him down. This is literally like my haters. You know how my haters will see me thriving, having a fun time, moisturized, not a care in the world. You know what I mean? And then they'll be like, let's fuck his day up. That's exactly what they did to LeBron. They saw a 39-year-old man absolutely clamp down, and then they turn around and were like, let's talk about his hairline. Let's talk about how Anthony Davis is disrespecting him. He should know his place. He should respect his elders. You know what I mean? LeBron paved the way. But it's just, that's how we started the conversation. Anyway, Elent News doing self-promo in the chat. This is where the gamers discourse is coming from. This video is going insane right now. I hate this world. I mean, it's only got like 300K views in 2 days, which is pretty solid. Why modern gaming sucks. Ugly characters everywhere. Oh, God. Is he going to say, like... Is he going to talk about Clementine? You're calling LeBron old? I mean, he's 39 years old, guys. He's the GOAT. But also, he's stretching it.
You know, one of the best things about video games is that they allow us to transcend the petty limitations of the real world, creating fantastical landscapes that defy logic, terrifying monsters, awe-inspiring wonders, and iconic characters bound only by the limitations of the human imagination. It truly is the very purest form of creativity, unless of course you happen to be a Western game developer, in which case your escapist fantasy entertainment absolutely has to reflect the world we live in today. The world we live in today.
I love this because it's like guys like this. I would love to see what this dude looks like. But guys like this, when they make videos like this, when they make video essays like this, are just white knuckling through it. Like I can hear him clenching his jaw throughout the entire process. Like he is so mad, bro. It's like, oh, games today. Yeah, you don't see characters you'd want to crank to like games back in the day. I'm E. Fartlaw and I love Israel. Wait, Piers Morgan? He went on Piers Morgan? Which one is it? Which one is it? Is it this one? Oh my God. I cannot believe it. Which one is that? Is it this one with a Batman logo on the back? Or is it this one here? Which one is that? It's the fourth one. Oh, this guy? You'd make a great Shrek, big bro. Thank you. Bro, just divorced dad vibes on lock, dude. Respect. He definitely doesn't... I expect him to be much fatter. I will admit. Okay? I expected him to be much fatter. If you... I have to come clean. I thought he was gonna look like Quarter Chicken Pounder McNuggets. Okay, like I thought he was gonna be another Quarter Pounder type. Okay, at least the dude does shape up his beard and shit.
And this is your greatest moment.
I can't
as an actor,
hear.
your first Oscar.
Was a poorly.
Your drug taking?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, Robert's trying to laugh it off there, and hopefully they were going to move on quickly. But it's probably just another example of Jimmy falling on his arse as a comedian. And
falling on his arse. He looks like Sargon off Ozempic. Yeah. Anyway, regardless though, it is really bent so out of shape about how he kind of jerk off to the fucking characters no longer. It's bullshit. I kind of jerk off to the spider pussy.
World we live in today. The world we live in today. You've probably noticed that there's been a bit of a shift in the portrayal of video game characters in recent years, particularly the female ones. A process that probably has a far more technical name, but which a simple man like myself can best describe as uglification. It's like gaming is somehow de-evolving even as technology and production costs rise to astronomical levels, producing characters that look less human and more physically repulsive with each new release.
Bro doesn't go outside and see real women in the wild. Like, I don't know if he knows this, but like women look like this too. You know what I mean? Like women have the capability of looking like this. No, lassie is gonna have a higher muscle mass than me, the critical drinker. I kinda jerk out to Abby, and when I do, I get weird feelings.
A ruined and terrible form of life.
I mean, Jesus, look at the state of it. I don't think anyone wants to go on an adventure with this girl. A quick glance at your average AAA development page is like taking a walk down your average high street in Scotland. The face.
Wait, what? That's a real person, bro. Why is he? What? I think some of these people. Okay, these are just non-white people. You just posted a collage of mostly non-white people. What the fuck's going on?
Correspond to your understanding of what human beings look like, but the features, proportions, and arrangements are so far off that you're left with a disturbingly intense urge to get out of there as quickly as possible and never look back. And it's interesting to note that this phenomenon seems to be confined to one half of the population only, almost like it's intentional.
The males are hot still. Why the fuck are the males jerk-offable? I found myself cranking a Spider-Man rather than Mary Jane. Why? Only the females are no longer crankable. Oh my God. Bro, really just outing himself about the fact that he has never seen, let alone talked to a woman. I don't understand why this is a major deal. I don't. Please stop commenting on people's appearance. Love you to death, but there's nothing wrong with being fat. I don't want to be a radlib. I just want to be empathetic. Please stop. Take a week off. Sheltered Rosebud. Thank you. Thank you for coming to the show. Once again, missing the point and then getting mad at me. I am not making fun of people for being fat. I am actually quite literally talking about someone losing their minds over characters looking more realistic, and you didn't understand the point, and you instead came at me and made it, you know, everyone else's problem that you misunderstood the point I was making. But take a week off from chatting, and we'll be excited to see you in the next 7 days.
Intentional or something. The problem seems to have been bubbling away for a while now, but like an explosive diuretic.
You expect this guy to be fatter? They didn't misunderstand anything. If that's what you're hyper focusing on in this entire process, I said I thought he was going to be unkempt, kind of similar to a quarter pounder, and he is definitely in better shape than I suspected him to be. The average gaming archetype.
Far, it could only be held back for so long before it made its violent entry into the world, destroying a pair of your best Calvin Kleins in the process. And the explosive release finally came with the advent of the Sweet Baby debacle, which has shed light on a lot of things that Western game developers probably would have rather kept secret. But there it is, all the same, and now that it's out there, it's fair game for people like me to comment on. So just like on my main channel, where I talked about the problems blighting modern Hollywood movies, I figured I'd make a video series here about why modern gaming sucks. And truly, where better to start with any good book than the cover? Yeah, modern gaming sucks because everyone is not crankable.
iconic crack to the characters. That's why Elden Ring was a phenomenal video game. I jerked off to Miquella 10 times. You understand me? 10 times I jerked off to the blade of Miquella. I thought to myself, what a looker, right? This guy literally ranks games on how hard he can jerk off to the characters. It's crazy. I love the rot. I need the scarlet rot on my penis.
Part 1. Everyone's ugly. Now, rather than just point and laugh at how ugly characters have become in recent years, let's see if we can break this one down scientifically. And that being the case, the first major problem seems to be a general rejection of femininity and female beauty in modern game development. A perfect example of this is the character model for MJ in the 2 Spider-Man games.
This is a very funny thing to get mad at because, like, isn't this a real person who also is attractive? Like you just don't find her attractive, I guess. So now you're mad about, like, they didn't like uglify her or anything. He's mad Spider-Man is hotter. dude, I love the men's right activists, like, unironically openly demonstrating that they just like they just don't like women in general. You know what I mean? They're literally just like, I don't like women. I just hate women in general. I don't even want to see them in my video games. And if I do see them in my video games, I just want to see ass and titties like nothing else.
Character in the same game series made by the same dev studio, but with a radically different appearance in each one. In the first game, you can quite clearly see the facial model has all the traits commonly associated with traditional femininity. Rounded facial structure, full lips, large eyes and a small nose. Now compare it to MJ in the second game, and well, I think you can spot the differences. This version has a facial model has all the traits commonly associated.
Bro, doing phrenology to a video game character is awesome. This is mental illness. By the way, this is literally just mental illness. Like taking a snapshot of like the character in the first game versus the second game from a different angle and being like, look at that, 33% different. And that 33% difference causes me to jerk off way less to the MJ. I don't like it. I kinda jerk off.
Associated with traditional femininity. Rounded facial structure, full lips, large eyes and a small nose. Now compare it to MJ in the second game, and well, I think you can spot the differences. This version has a large prominent chin, a wider and stronger jawline, thinner lips, heavier eyebrows and eyes that are proportionally smaller because the rest of her face is now bigger.
Didn't they just get better at mocapping? Like from the first game onwards to now? Like, it's the same woman, isn't it? I don't know. Nah, they fucked MJ up in the second one. Bro, guys, it's a real person. It's the same person, just the graphics are better. It's like getting mad when HD TVs first started coming out and like makeup wasn't changed. Like when we got like higher definition and people just like kind of looked weird at first. And it's like in that process being upset at, it would be like being upset at woke TV producers or something. Bro, switch from talking about positions to gaming contents? Wait, what do you mean? What positions?
In short, she's got a far more masculine appearance than before. Interesting. Or how about Aloy from the Horizon games, a series that I actually quite enjoy. You can see in the image on the left how she
Did you enjoy it?
looked in the original game. Not hyper-feminine by any stretch, because she's trying to survive in a primitive post-apocalyptic world where cosmetics aren't exactly easy to come by, but still she's recognisably female with the softer facial structure typically associated with women. The image on the right, on the other hand, is so masculine that if you were to give her some facial hair, you'd basically be left with a man. And a handsome man at that. Same deal with the main character from Star Wars Outlaws. Prominent
Bro's just gay, I think. No disrespect. I just like
chin that would make even Sergeant Slaughter jealous, a wide, strong jawline, thin lips, and small eyes. Jesus, it's like these characters all rolled off the same bland assembly line. It's even more perplexing when you see what her actress looks like. I could go on and on with this stuff all day, but you get the basic idea. The real question though is, why? Why are Western developers so against
Classic. The Lara Croft titties discourse, bro. It's like 2008.
the idea of femininity and female beauty in games? I mean, if I was a cynical man, I might suggest that most
Stephanie Tyler, the face model for MJ in Marvel Spider-Man games, left the video game industry because of the harassment from fans, if I'm not mistaken. This is so fucked up. I remember her talking about like getting literal death threats over it, right? Am I remembering this correctly? I'm pretty sure she was like, yeah. Spider-Man 2 MJ face model addresses harassment from players. I appreciate the love for my role in the Spider-Man games and the positive responses to my version of MJ has gotten over the years. However, I'm no longer an actively auditioning actor or model. The shoots I do now are purely creative outlet for myself and a way to collaborate with friends I love. Over the weekend, some followers crossed boundaries. One even went to the extent of calling my workplace and leaving multiple voicemails wanting to speak with me and requesting I call back, which is unacceptable and considered stalking. My skincare page is not for Spider-Man or MJ fans. Bottom line is that I came into work this morning and immediately felt unsafe and uncomfortable hearing those voicemails. Please respect that. I am a human being trying to make a living just like you, and I kindly ask for boundaries not to be crossed. Messages will not be answered. I will block you if you make me feel uncomfortable, and you can unfollow me if this disappoints you. Thank you. What? Oh my God. While we're in the midst of this breaking, Iran launches attack against Israel using dozens of drones, four U.S. and Israeli officials told me. Oh no, it's happening now. No, while we're in the middle of this gaming discourse, come on, bro. Yo, I hit up the Ayatollah. I was like, bro, chill. Dial it back. Don't do it yet. It's fun day. That's what I said. I said it's fun day. They literally just got better at not flattening women's features to stop them from all looking the same. It's insane. They have to soften / sharpen certain features in post, and they stop being as heavy-handed all the time, and that's all they did. That's why they're mad. Iran be watching Hasanabi and attacks for clout. Yeah, it's fucked up. Mainstream news is not covering it yet. Yeah, because they're not going to cover it. And I mean, we are faster than mainstream news on this sort of stuff because we're getting it directly in real time as it happens. I'm sure it just happened like 3 minutes ago, chat. That's why. Anyway, I'll finish this video game sequence and then we'll get to World War III.
Game studios are infested with jealous, physically repulsive land whales who can't stand to be reminded that they've broken more mirrors than Conan the Barbarian.
Physically repulsive land whales. But
let's go a little bit deeper than that. It's definitely not a technology problem, that's for sure. Games have been capable of rendering accurate facial scans of real actors for decades at this point. I mean, look at Julia Voth from the Resident Evil remake. That game's more than 20 years old now and the resemblance is uncanny. Or Ellen Page in Beyond Two Souls, which came out in 2013. Or Hayden Panettiere from Until Dawn from 2015. Or Keanu Reeves from Cyberpunk.
No, he literally is just saying that, like, he doesn't, like, these are the people that he finds hot, and some of the people he doesn't find hot are in video games. That's it.
And as for today, well, all you need to do is take a look at games like Final Fantasy Rebirth or Stellar Blade to see that we're more than capable of rendering beautiful characters on screen. No, the issue here is a creative one. But why exactly?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. Yes. Game developers are making the active choice to feature more realistic looking women in their games, some of which are also still attractive, but you don't find them attractive. Others are not in makeup because they're in a war zone. You're just like you literally are using this as an example. By the way, a great game, like, you know, fun and sexy, and that's awesome. I have no issues with this, but it is so strange. It is so strange. Bro, this guy's just been promoting this one dude so much. Shut up. Yeah, there's always been ugly dudes in video games too. I don't see him crying about that. Maybe it feels like it's because he only wants the women's role in video games to be one of, like, sex appeal. I suspect that is the major issue here. is that if women appear in video games, they have to be sexy. If they are not sexy, then they do have no role in the video game itself. They have to be eye candy. Yeah, I mean, my gaming channel just posted Stellar Blade killed wokeness 3 hours ago.
What the?
Her body proportions are crazy. That's a
There seems to be this weird assumption that gamers can or won't take a female character seriously if they find them physically attractive, so the only solution is to reduce or remove any element of attractiveness and sensuality.
name an ugly man who's a main character in a video game then. Literally any RPG where you can make your own custom built character, you can make them ugly if you would like. Mario, Nico Bellic, Shrek, Duke Nukem, Disco Elysium. Thank you, chatters. Kratos isn't exactly a looker himself. I guess he's like every single man in every single Far Cry. Dude, do you guys just not like gaming? Is that what it is? I think a lot of quote unquote gamers, one, hate women, and two, hate video games. It is the vibe I'm getting. Legitimately, I think a lot of these dudes just, one, don't like women. They want them to look like hentai characters. And if they don't look like hentai characters, then it's not good. And also, they just don't like games in general either. Because how can you say there are no unattractive men in video games? Like, that's such a stupid take. It's so strange, bro. It's such an odd take to have. That you can only arrive at that take unless you think, like, I guess, either A, you think all men are beautiful unconditionally, okay? And no women are beautiful unless they fit my expectations, like these incredibly unrealistic body standards or whatever. Or B, you just don't play video games and you haven't realized that there are plenty of dudes that don't really look that hot that are main characters in many video games. Maybe a bit of column A, column B. Gears of War, another great one. Exactly. Video game men all look like Mike Israetel. That's such a good line. You're right. Gears of War especially. It is kind of funny. Can you imagine? Dude. Imagine like, we're going to get to Israel in a second. I want to finish this. But it's like, imagine if women were like, oh, it's really fucked up that Gears of War would have been a much better game if they actually made the main character a little bit hotter and not look like such a juice monkey, like a roided out Ninja Turtle looking guy. I wanted to fuck the main character, but unfortunately, he looked like Fred Durst with a steady, healthy diet of Trenbolone and Anavar. Really fucked up. Why can't he look like my sexy twinks from Final Fantasy? There you go, ladies. One of you can make that now. That's a free TikTok for you. That's a banger TikTok. You get 1 million views on that easy. Why is the main character in Gears of War looking like a goddamn Ninja Turtle? I don't want to suck his dick at all. It's really fucked up. They should be looking like a K-pop idol. Peak male character design. That's what I'm talking about, dude.
Producing bland, ugly, unappealing models that nobody wants to look at. For me, this is a deeply flawed premise on two levels. One, because characters like Lara Croft, Ada Wong, Jill Valentine, Tifa Lockhart and Aerith Gainsborough are all conventionally beautiful, but they've all stood the test of time as well because they were more than just their physical appearance. They were all genuinely interesting characters that people liked and identified with.
Lara Croft? What genuinely interesting character did Lara Croft bring to the table? What? Bro, I played the original Tomb Raiders. What the hell do you mean? Like, that's a, okay. Yeah, genuinely interesting, bro.
Beauty
You're right.
didn't undermine that, it enhanced it. The second reason is, well, down to simple human nature. We as people generally...
Like, these are genuinely interesting characters and they're hot, okay? These are legitimately interesting characters who also happen to be sexy. Okay? That's it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you can say that they're genuinely interesting characters. You can't say that about Lara Croft.
We prefer to look at physically attractive individuals. We instinctively seek out beauty, we're drawn to it, and we enjoy being around it. Why do you think so many Hollywood actors or models or pop stars are conventionally good looking? It's
also, again, yes, a lot of people in Hollywood are more attractive than the average person, even though beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There are still a shit ton of actors, celebrated actors, phenomenally accomplished actors, method actors who aren't exactly hot. Not every actor is Chris Hemsworth, dude. That's so strange. That is such a strange thing to say in general. He tagged me in this? That's such a dumbass.
It's the same reason we don't go to art galleries to look at children's finger paintings. We want to experience something higher and better, something aspirational.
That's an awesome take. He also compared, like, first of all, you've never been to an art gallery. If you understood art even a little bit, you would recognize that artistic choices being made by game developers to make more realistic looking characters in general is simply that, an artistic choice that they've made. That you're mad. You literally are demanding the finger painting level of artistic interpretation from video games by being like, what can I jerk off to the game characters that aren't real? I need my art to have major titties. I need it. I need it. Also, there's plenty of modern art that looks like finger paintings, but I'm sure this guy also fucking feels that way, that they're bad too, so.
No, I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but there it is. The truth of the matter is that nobody enjoys looking at ugly people. Yeah, we know that most of us don't look like Chris Hemsworth or Sydney Sweeney, and that's okay. We know we'll never have a body like Chris Redfield or Lara Croft, and that's okay too. Why? Because we're not narcissists.
Dude, the fact that he keeps saying a body like Lara Croft and showing Lara Croft, like, is he trolling? I can't understand it. I can't tell if he's trolling or if he's being serious. Like, the Lara Croft thing is, like, weird.
Narcissistic idiots who need to see ourselves reflected in everything that we see and do, or have all our hang-ups and insecurities validated by pulling everyone down to our level. Believe it or not, human beings are a lot more mature and resilient than that. The other thing that strikes me is that a lot of the shitty modern tropes from Hollywood are starting to spill over into the video game industry, particularly when it comes to blurring the lines between men and women. Male characters in movies and TV shows today are often depicted as neurotic, insecure, emotionally fragile, cowardly, verbose and self-deprecating, generally lacking in agency or the ability to assert themselves in any particular situation. Women, on the other hand, are now written to be stoic, confident, assertive, arrogant and aggressive, which are the same exact traits that were once considered toxic in men. They're basically trying to turn.
Dude, these guys, okay, you can't have a normal conversation with a dude who believes these things objectively. Like women having normal emotions and men having normal emotions that weren't heavily showcased in the past because of one-dimensional writing is not a bad thing, okay? An example of this would be like the highs and lows of even Joel, right? Like you're just upset that characters are not one-dimensional anymore. That's all this is. Offering whatever kind of traits that you ascribe only to men to women, and offering whatever kind of traits you only ascribe to women to men, technically is moving beyond the shitty one-dimensional writing. That's it. Like I genuinely think a lot of these older guys, this dude is like, what, in his 40s or something? I think a lot of these older people, they just don't get the same enjoyment that they once got with their childlike wonder from video games. And that's where this comes from. Like, they're looking desperately. I feel like a lot of these guys basically look at anything and everything they can point to say, like, why have I lost the same enjoyment that I once got from video games? Why do I no longer derive that same level of enjoyment out of video games that I once did when I was a child? And I think that's what this is. No, it's not porn addiction. It's just like misogyny paired up with an inability to enjoy games nowadays. That's it. Like, sure, a big part of the problem with the gaming industry in general is a consequence of capitalism, right? All of these major publishers have like sucked up every developer and they're churning out the same IP over and over and over again. And they're basically just like juggling IP and trying to make as much money as possible without taking crazy initiatives, without truly running wild with their art. Okay, it has become a major industry, larger than Hollywood in general, and this is a byproduct of that. But beyond that, there are still phenomenal games being made, phenomenal games with ugly ass male characters, ugly female characters, and sexy ass male and female characters. Who gives a shit? You just are upset by the fact that it is not as one note as it once was. Hasan, this is not important. Iran confirmation. Guys, there is literally 3 more minutes left in this. I know that the drones are headed in the direction of Israel. I am familiar. I know what's going on. I'm going to get to it in a second. Please calm the f down.
Turn them into men, or at least a warped parody of what they think masculine behavior is, and I think that mentality is bleeding into gaming
I have
now
the
as
Netanyahu
well.
interview as
Female
well.
characters are being redesigned to look more and more like men, because game studios incorrectly associate masculinity with strength and femininity with weakness, rather than seeing both as just being different paths to the same destination. They desperately want to create tough, independent, empowered women, because let's face it, that's pretty much the only kind of characters they're allowed to write now, and because they lack the skill and imagination to construct interesting characters with actual feminine characteristics, their only solution is to churn out women who look, talk, and act like the toxic men they despise so much.
Oh my
It's actually
God.
kind of funny when you think about it. Their own flawed worldview creates
This is why it's hard. This is why it's this is why you can never get these guys to tell you like a positive example of like someone doing it right. Or the only positive example that he can show is like Lara Croft, and not even like new Lara Croft, but like old Lara Croft with like the triangle titties. It's just like that's it. That's peak women writing for you. Just jerk off before you make a video like this, man. It'll save everyone the trouble.
created a problem that they can only solve by replicating the same exact problem that they created in the first place. Genius. And the thing is, who is any of this supposed to appeal to? Men certainly don't like it, because seeing their favourite characters turned into the Giga Chad meme to score social media points and court an audience that doesn't exist is irritating and depressing. Women don't seem to.
The funniest part is that like a lot of these video games are also making a shit ton of money too, so he's objectively wrong. It's just that like it doesn't appeal to his sensibilities and the sensibilities of a bunch of older divorced dad gamers who don't derive the same satisfaction from playing video games nowadays. So they just keep chirping and chirping, and there's a big audience for it, a big enough audience for it rather, on one side of the internet. But overall, the video game industry is expanding like crazy, right? And they just cannot cope with that reality. Like you can't cope with the top of the hour ad break coming in right now. You're worried about the drone strikes on Israel. You should be worrying about the top of the hour ad break and how you can avoid that top of the hour ad break, which is of course by subscribing for $5 or for free. We're going to move on to the Iran-Israel situation in a brief moment after I'm done with this video. Okay?
Care much for it either, because I'm willing to bet that not many of them aspire to look like this, or this, or this. Female gamers aren't going to feel sad and excluded just because they've seen Ada Wong killing monsters while executing.
Like that's, you just made up a thing. You just made up a problem, which is that like there are more realistic looking women in video games. Why is this being done? Why is this a problem? It's not a problem, but if it is a problem, why was this action even taken? It can't be because like, I don't know, game developers want to make something more unique than the bland shit that they've been doing, right? And this is one way to like switch it up a little bit, okay? But it's actually because women are playing video games, which is bad, and female gamers need to see ugly women, right? Like female gamers need to see ugly women. It's like, no, that is not the case at all. It's very stupid to make this assertion. You've just made up a problem and looked for a fake reason for why this problem exists when it's not even a problem. You spent 10 minutes to tell everybody that you're kind of perverted and you have to be able to jerk off. You have to be able to jerk off to the female characters. You also did not factor in that there are plenty of male characters that are not hot and have not been hot historically, but it doesn't bother you at all because male characters, I guess you don't give a shit about because you don't want to jerk off to the characters when they're male. Bruv, this take is almost as bad as the vid. It is idiotic to hyper focus on a few female characters that you didn't personally find attractive. Okay? Maybe I'm weird, but I'm not looking to crank one when I'm playing video games. I'm not like, you know, you need both hands when you're using the controller. You need both hands when you're using a keyboard and mouse, chatters, okay? There's a reason for that. It's because you're not supposed to be jerking off while you're playing, okay? You're supposed to jerk off before or after, if you would like.
Shooting a perfect backflip in a ball gown. Instead, they're gonna see a cool, awesome, beautiful woman kicking ass and doing awesome things. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I love the examples that he's using too, by the way, which again prove that there are still sexy women. There are still sexy women who are, you know, prominently featured in video games. Like, it's so dumb. Just like there are sexy men. Who gives a f?
That's the whole point of playing video games, in fact. They're not supposed to reflect the real world with all its tedious, mundane problems and restrictions. They're supposed to represent something higher, something better, something more fun. They're supposed to represent what we aspire to be, not what we're stuck with in our day-to-day lives. And the more you try to fuck with that, the more you lose sight of the very purpose of your industry. And well, the more your customers are going to abandon you in favor of something better.
Yeah, that's why everyone is just leaving the video game industry in droves. That's why it's like $1 trillion industry now, because everyone is left. Yeah, there are less gamers now than ever before because they don't have the triangular titties of Lara Croft. It's such an idiotic take that even the dumbest, most divorced dad incel video game essayist has to, like, their fan base cannot be that delusional. I do not think that even they believe that video games are not as popular as they once were when the companies were just like churning out way sexier characters, I guess. Can you imagine if they just made all the characters in the Walking Dead games hot? Like, that would be so dumb and unrealistic. Yeah, it's very odd. These are takes that come from older gamers that, once again, no longer feel the same excitement that they once did playing video games and cannot understand why. And it's because maybe you've gotten too old. Okay? And they're trying to cope with it. Or they're the same people that play the same game. They play World of Warcraft still, or they play Call of Duty still. And then they just like chirp about all these other games that they're not even playing and not even interested in. They're just interested in the discourse. Okay? That's it. Because like the reality of the matter is that like the games are more diverse, and in a good way too. I don't mean like diversity, DEI. I mean like just in general. Games have more complex plot points, which is great. Obviously, there's a lot of shit too, but ultimately, gaming has improved so much. Yes, he literally hasn't talked about one of the most, if not the most important part of these games, the gameplay, which has improved so much in the last 20 years. Exactly.
Why do you think the Stellar Blade demo made such an impact? It's because the developers were smart enough to give their customers exactly what they want. A kick-ass beautiful woman in a skin-tight bodysuit. And in turn, gamers saw it.
Bro, the way he said that, I think that's disgusting. You're gross. You're a gross pervert, bro. I'm sorry. Look at this.
Something better. Why do you think the Stellar Blade demo made such an impact? It's because the developers were smart enough to give their customers exactly what they want. A kick-ass beautiful woman in a skin-tight bodysuit. And in
a skin-tight woman in a kick-ass bodysuit. Skin-tight bodysuit. His lockjaw finally let in a couple pieces of spittle and drool out on that one.
turn, gamers saw it as a giant f*** you to all the prissy, sanctimonious.
I do think that people should genuinely be more embarrassed to put out videos like this. Like, I'm serious. You need to be more embarrassed. You need to be more embarrassed to be able to just like make a 10-minute and 33-second video just being like, I kind of jerk off to the ladies on the games nowadays. Like, what the f***'s happening here? You need shame. What happened to shame?
And developers that are slowly strangling Western gaming. And if there's one thing that gamers love doing most of all, it's saying f*** you to people who try to control and lecture them. And for now at least, Eastern developers still seem to understand that fact. That's the great thing about the free market, you see. The customer...
Once again, just one answer to this, okay? Here. Eastern developers still making sexy ass fucking characters. I can't believe it, right? I can jerk off to this, lad. Let me tell you, all right? Fucking right? Thank God for that Eastern character development. Right? Huh. Oh, sorry for showing you this. I know many of you are in here probably busting a fat nut, saying Mario, real working man.
Customers can always go elsewhere, and if you don't change course pretty soon, you might just find that out to your costs.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Hell, I can't believe it. All right, dude. Like I said, jerk off before posting shit like this, okay? And your life will be better. Jerk off before you post shit like this, and, you know, it won't be as bad.